Hello, we're back. Right, we've had breakfast. It is quite, probably quite a good idea to, um, have break. So, right, what are we thinking? It's got a time lapse on. I'm absolutely amazed. The video I did this morning was an hour and 11 minutes, right? And I thought it was far too long. And I put it on YouTube. And it loaded really quickly. Sometimes I can put a video on, it'll take hours to load. I think it's to do with people using the internet. I'm not normally here on Saturday morning. Is that what it was? And it's on. I thought it was going to be a real major headache. I'm not sure if the internet, it does reach here. I don't know if it really reaches here properly. Right, so what are we talking about then? What are we doing with this? So what I'm consciously aware of is I can't really afford to spend weeks fucking about. Well, I already have. So what do we think? So what we're going to do now? So what's happened? What have you done? So it's looking clearer. It's looking crisper. The car. I think. Let's just kind of like say, right, the car's fine. Right. So next is to. I'll need to sit down and have a look at it, but pretty much it's fine. Right. Maybe the wheels are not quite right. Maybe there's too much white in the tyres. Right, so really, the next move is the no entry, the post, and there's the clock. So the clock face is easy. That's just going to be pens. The time on it, 4:20. It's easy, right? And a little line round the inside to give the 3D effect. The edge, I mean. The West Sutton Arms is going to be written on the letters. What I was planning on doing with the building, so I'd like to do some painting on the eaves and the top bit there, the ridge, the verge. The ridge and the verge and the gutter. And then I'm thinking about I think I'll go over that brown again, try and get a more stone-like image. And then I'm going to use Sharpie pens to do vague outlines of the brickwork and the window. So the plan, and we'll put a line below at the white bit. We'll put a straight line. We'll need a straight edge, a ruler or something. And so I'll really try to get this done today, so that it's not hanging over me. It is like art's like that, isn't it? It's like, right. From a distance it looks good. It's when you get close it doesn't look good. It's like fuck, It's like, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong. I think we could kind of. I don't want to overwork the Mini, is what I'm saying. Okay, right. Well, there's the door handle. There's the vent. There's the windscreen washers. There's the Mini badge. There's. Let's do that. Let's do these details in the Mini and then move on from the Mini. God, it's warm in here. It's fucking warm. God's sake. Right, so I've been putting shorts on in the conversation with Craig Houston. I don't know if this is a good avenue to go down, because it's kind of politics, isn't it? We need a bit more black in there. It's politics, but so why am I doing it? Why did I do something positive? Well, I'm sticking up for reality. So that's one of the reasons, right? One of the reasons is I'm sticking up for the dispossessed. So that idiot, that Paris Green, complete and utter half-wit, right? So why am I sticking up? I'm not really sticking up for her actually, but she shouldn't be in jail. Well, right, let's go into that. Conspiracy to murder is a serious offence. So that's when you get involved with somebody else. So you didn't actually do the deed, but you're fucking involved with it, And then, of course, what happened to my sister was they threatened the police threatened her. They threatened the father of her child, that if he didn't confess to the crime, this was a DRUGS crime, that they would lock her up. So the police are, well, that's what they do. They're nasty, isn't they? But they've got to be, isn't they? They're dealing with criminals. So he had to confess, to accept the blame, even though she was involved with the crime, which was DRUGS, possession, distribution, you know, all these things, right? So that was easy for the police, because they threatened him and he did the right thing. My dad hated him, but my dad, you know, I mean, didn't recognise that he actually did do the right thing, because my sister could have went to jail, you know. And why am I talking about that? Well, because I don't know what happened with Paris Green, or maybe they didn't need her to go Queen's evidence. You know, maybe they had enough evidence for, maybe they didn't need her. You know, that's certainly possible. Like, fuck you. So it's a horrible game, but you get involved with horrible stuff, then you sort of deserve it, don't you? You know, get involved with horrible people and horrible actions, and, well, getting involved with substances and you don't know what you're doing. So, I don't know the full story, and she did assault a prison warder, which is a woman, as Craig Houston seems to stress on that fact. I think that's why she's still there, is because she's dumb and she hasn't really played the system. She hasn't accepted responsibility. I think that's part of the punishment process. That's why that guy from Dalkeith is still in jail as well, because he is claiming to be innocent, you know, for the murder. So Paris Green is a tragic case of a complete idiot, really, and when these pictures that I put on, there's pictures of me with her on Facebook, and I think that it might even, I took pictures of her. It might even be that I'm looking at my own fucking picture that I took. Well, I don't know. It was a long time ago, but you've got to remember, this was 12 years ago. So, you know, essentially, I dinged her the following day, and the following, she messaged me, maybe, I can't remember what it was, maybe a week or two after or whatever, and I decided for my own safety that, it's one of these things, you make decisions, and it was a good decision, because she's proved to be a nut, right? And obviously trans prisoners, like, there's always going to be criminals, prisoners. I mean, there's always going to be whatever. Say, like, you chose a race or like lesbians. You're going to have lesbian criminals, aren't you? You know, if you categorise people in such a way, there's always going to be criminals. So what Craig Houston's doing and all these types, so they're sort of zooming in on this. I mean, do you want to zoom in on the female criminals? You know, well, that doesn't fit his narrative, does it? So, statistically, they're farting against the wind, and they're not really helping the world. All they're doing is just getting money for views. As That's what Craig's doing. So, but anyway, right, so I don't know, I mean, I don't even know if I'm asking you, but I quite like doing that video. And I think it's in the interest of fairness, and it's because I think Craig's blocked me actually. I think that's why my comments don't get seen. I think what I could do is actually open up a channel just critiquing every video that he does. So what are you talking about there? You're talking about a political channel then? Maybe I could do that, couldn't I? I mean, I don't mind talking, and I can talk about stuff. You know, it's interesting. It could be dangerous in that I could get myself targeted, you know, by some of his supporters or something. But I think essentially what we've got there is we've got this guy who's in Rangers, and that, you know, football club. And the football sort of demographic is football demographic. Well, that's what George Orwell said, you know. It was the thing about as long as they get their beer and their football, they're content. You can do anything with them. So that's what I see with Craig and his followers. Why did I pick on him? Well, I'm really disappointed in him. I think I quite like him in a way. It's probably why, in some level, I think there's a good person there, but it's just not coming out, and he hasn't learned. So, and the other reason that I'm focusing on him is because he rejected me. You don't want to know. So that's how things do happen. You know? So it's a good way sometimes if you have got some nutter comes up to you. There's a technique where you could make them feel that they've been heard. Nobody wants to be ignored, right? So what he's done with me is he's I believe it's undemocratic. But that it's obvious. I'm not fitting his narrative. He doesn't want to hear from me. So it's like, and you've got Silver Hot Takes as well. I mean, they're just pushing this stuff. So I think I've got every right to criticise it, and that's what I'm doing, you know. It's criticising them. Saying, hey, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and I'm coming from a position, I'm not a trans activist. You know, I'm not interested in that stuff. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of trans stuff. It's a lot of it is nuts. No much wonder there's a kickback. Because at the end of the day, we need to be having children. You know, as a society, we need. So if you're going to have everybody having operations and everything and fucking destroying their bodies, well, it's not good, is it? Nobody wants that. Well, they do, but that's because they don't. The activists and the extremists. But what I'm saying is, there is people like myself who got into that, and we've got to live our lives. We can't necessarily get out of it, you know, whether we wanted to or not. It's a fact, right? How am I going to get out of it? You can't undo the surgery, right? So so there's a case of being fair, and what he's doing is not fair, and especially coming from somebody. Well, I did a bit more digging. He's suffered from depression, and he's highlighted that in his book and his Ranger stuff. So you can't, you know, you're not demonstrating that you've really learned from the mistakes in your life, because he got tainted the cleaners with his wife. That happened to me. You know, it happens. So as a result of that, I don't have a relationship. I haven't even met my granddaughter. There's another one on the way. I might never meet them. And it's all because of the power dynamic where my ex took power of, I was unable to, so she got power of the children. I mean power as in control. And I got pushed to the side, villainised, rejected. So I can't see my granddaughter. It's impossible, because my ex will do everything she can to make life difficult for everyone. And my son, the eldest, really, he's not strong enough to, I spoke to him at my dad's funeral. I did speak to him. And my auntie and everything was sniping. They don't want us to get on. They're evil. So the women in my family are evil, right? And that's the women in my family. That's what they're like. It's not a lot I could do about it. That's the way they are. I don't know why. There's all different reasons why they went like that. They've turned out like that. And there's a women thing. So we're really down to this battle. It's between men and women. And Craig, you're fucking fighting your own side, you fucking arsehole. That's what I'm trying to say to these guys. But they don't want to go back to Victorian values. They just want to send me back to Victorian values. That's what they want to do. And you can't talk about it to them because they don't want to talk about it. They just want to push their own narrow little narrative with their little Rangers supporters. And like I said before, how bad is it? Because the Celtic supporters will be even dafter. The ones I haven't, I don't know. It's maybe unfair what I'm saying. I do know Celtic supporters who are very, very nice, but generally, we're back to football, really, at the end of the day. Football supporters, they're daft, aren't they? Do you know what I'd like to do is go to the pub? Yes, okay, I know you would, but you're not. You're going to Falkirk. You're not escaping from Falkirk. Right, so what I did today is I've not went into Edinburgh. So the bad side is I didn't do that. So there's stuff I was needing to get rid of. It's in the van. And I could have picked stuff up. So I've sacrificed that in order to do this. So I have done this. So there you are. I've done it, I'm doing it, so that we're getting on with this. It's going to be worth it. And it takes time. Paintings take time. They always do. And I'm not doing this for the money. I'm going to say that right out. I'm not. I'm doing it for validation. And that is a fact. And I know it sounds really strange. I'm not doing this for the money. Although I have to. In order to pay, for. Maybe I'm going to have to start taking money off YouTube as well. It depends what we're going to be doing. I don't like using people. I don't like the idea of using people, actually. This is why I don't do that buy me a coffee thing and everything. But no, but I think if I was doing more worthwhile videos, like, say, right, I'm going to do a video, say, like, go to some island somewhere and do some video, I would get you, the viewer, contribute to it, the expense of it, that, or something like that. You'd have to set out what you're actually going to do, and I think, be honest about it. That grey fucking floor thing still doesn't look right. The greyness. The grey. So how are we going to get it to look more interesting? So what you want to do is just start randomly chucking paint on it. Sometimes you can alter reality. See, that black bit should come out a bit further, shouldn't it? Let's put a bit of, there's brown here, let's put a bit of brown in with the black. to at least try and do what I was told at college. There's a good reason for it, and I'm rejecting it, because I'm being arrogant. See that there? So that's try a bit on there. So that's darker. See. Spread that out a bit. Give it a bit more life. A bit more life, you just said. Oh, you just went and fucking fucked it right up, didn't you? Right, so we could, you don't really need any more darkness under there. Right, this brush is too big for this, it'll be large. It's too big. Right, I'm expecting a phone call. Let's do a wee bit with that. I don't know when my phone call's going to happen. Let's use this big brush here and go right over this with a blue. Why would you do blue in the ground? Huh? Oh, so you need less blue, more grey, more of a mixture of. Yeah. What sort of colour is that? It should really be grey. So we'll put more white in it. White. That's probably pretty good actually, to what it actually is. What about a bit of green in it as well? A bit of green, a bit of grey, a bit of blue, a bit of everything. Yeah? Brown, grey. How's that? Yeah, it's getting muddy though, isn't it? It's getting muddy. Muddy. That's too muddy, stop it. You're getting too muddy, so now we need to overwhelm this with some white. We need to move along from this experience. See how I can get carried away and you know these things, it's a ground in it. So the other thing, sometimes you might make it brighter because you've got something that's going to be protruding from it. So you want it to, you know, sort of. So what am I doing these videos? Well, I think I'm just trying to balance off the narrative. So it's protect the dummies. And the reason I say I don't give a shite about Paris is because she is a criminal, but what criminals have I known in my life? Well, I knew somebody, I can't even speak about some of it. And one of it is a person that I knew that my ex had married into a family. You know, so I don't know how dangerous they still are. You know, so you've got to think about that, I suppose, when you're talking about people. When I was talking about that guys who got murdered in Spain, and I was being respectful about it, but I was thinking, well, God, you don't know, these people could turn up. You know, I mean, it's unlikely they would, but you've got to be sort of. I mean, I'm not being respectful to Craig because maybe it's because I think I sort of do like him. But you can be friendly with people. He's not a friend, is he? Because he wouldn't mix with the likes of me. But I think with him he deserves it. Yeah, definitely. Right. So how does that look? How's that? How does I'm gonna have to stand back here? How does that grey thing appeared? That's quite good. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. God, it's greeny, grey, bluey. It could be anything I want it to be. Right, so now what I've got to do. Sorry if I'm shouting, but I can shout if I like. It's my studio. The whiteness is too white. Let's do something about that, and then we'll get moved on from the car. Right, the whiteness is too white. Too white. So how are you gonna sort that? Well, you need to use the darker colours, don't you? Mix them in, and then you need a very light touch of the darker colours, and you need to put white. You need to mix it with white. That's what you need to do. So that's what you need to do with that. Is white, a dollop of white. So you don't want it to be. It's too white at the moment. White. It's too white. We need to get rid of all these whites. The white. Whites. See, there's a sort of touch of green about that down there. See right there, but it's sort of bluey green. I don't know if it's it might be the tinted glass. Could be. Some fucking dumpling. There's so many fucking dumplings about, honestly. They've got to be heard. And I suppose my style of painting is brave. So there's a wee bit of green in there now. Yeah. I don't want it to be too pouring. That should be darker, that bit there. We'll just put a bit of dark bit in. That's where the headrest is. We'll just put that right in there. Right. Right, okay. Right. It's different. It's acrylic paint. It's a laugh a minute, yeah. Oil paint. It's like, Jesus, it's unbelievable oil paint. I mean, I'd be here forever in here if I was doing oil paints. Honestly. So that's giving it a wee bit of difference there, a wee bit of blue or something in the headlight. How about a wee bit of blue in the headlight? Just a light touch of something different. So it's not all sort of in the dark bit. And even though I'm sort of making this up because I'm not actually seeing that in the image. But try and liven things up a bit. Right. I mean, it's not a very good photograph that I'm working off anyway, but... Right, how's that? Let's get a bit of... Right, okay. Now, so, we're at the point now... a wee touch of something on that roof. Shall we do a wee touch of something on that roof? Like, a wee touch of... mixing the dark colour, the brown and the blue. Try and mix it into, try and get away from that the blackness. Although the reality is, it looks grey. So, the two reasons I didn't go to Corn Exchange. I want to do this, and I've got to a situation where I've got quite low on the sort of stuff that I sell there. So what normally happens, if that happens, you go in there and you'll probably get some stuff there. Right, but because I need to do this painting, that's essentially here today. And not there. Too much water. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. And it's always difficult to know where to be, where to go, what you're doing, isn't it? Like, it's an age-old problem. So we've got a problem about should I have done this, should I have done that? And our whole lives are set up like that. You know, our whole lives are, we spend our whole lives deliberating over what we should and shouldn't have done. And we die, and that's that, and that's all we've achieved. That's what we've achieved, and we are slaves to corporations. Fuck, see, you went and fucking made the right arse of that. You shouldn't have done that. That's taking my way down. It's going sort of yellow, which I don't really want. I want it to be more red. More of a red than a yellow. We're spending too much time in the car. I know it. I do know it. I do. Right? I'm aware of this problem. And this is the wrong colour. Yeah, so there's some weirdos about, you know, that you're always going to get that, you know, there's people that are mentally deranged, and whether they are identifying as, you know, a different gender for what they were born in or not, but you're more likely to be mentally deranged if you're going into that side of things. That's a fact. I mean, you've suffered. You're not true. You're not secure in your identity. Your identity should be. You know, we can go on about this all day long. You're looking at overpowering females in my case, which caused the damage and the mental damage that I've suffered from. I've had some people say some really stupid things about the topic. Like a guy on yesterday saying that it's like, so gender is a different word for sex, you know, and it constantly gets conflated. It constantly conflates sex and gender. It happens all the time. So they'll say something like, you can't change your gender, but you can, because gender is a social construct. So yes, you can. And that's what happened to this conversation I had yesterday with this guy. It started to go, at first I was thinking, well, this is great, you've got somebody talking to you. And it started to go kind of, that I think he was talking shite, and he was actually he was becoming a bit offensive actually. You know, he was offending me, was explaining me. He was explaining me to me, you know, in a way that, about me. In a disrespectful manner, and it was, you can go and look at it if you want. Right, So there we go. A bit more white on there. Then we'll try and do a dry white. Dry white. Let's go for a dry white, right? Get the water off it. No water. Dry white on there. Where? Oh, this brush is too big for that. This brush is too big for everything. Get that brush to fuck now. You don't need that now. Right. Time to move on from this. Come on, you need a thinner brush. You need a thinner brush for that. You don't want too much, don't want water. It's a little sort of light shining there. Is that what I'm? A light mechanic? That's quite cool, isn't it? I'm a light mechanic. I'm playing around with a light. Right, I think it's time. Now, I've just noticed something. Just noticed something. We need the little there's the windscreen things. Little wee details, little wee details. And the mini thing, which isn't really dark. It's actually sort of. It needs a bit of white on it to get it to make sense. So I'm glad this is going to be finished today. I'm saying that, but the reality is that I'll probably come round here on Tuesday morning or Monday morning and I'll go, just needs a little bit more work on there, a little bit more work on there. That's right. So the mini is looking good. Right, okay, now let's stay away from this car. Stay away from it, or you're never going to get the door handle. We'll just do that, and it's kind of coming down a bit here, and it's got a darker bit above it, which is where it's quite dark. So we need brown, red. I've met some pretty strange people in my life, and they've met strange people if they met me, didn't they? So I've got to make sure it doesn't run. There's no need to have so much paint on it either. Right, so I am consciously aware that I'm maybe not. So it's come on the white bit a wee bit. Now, is there any other details? So there's this bit here, isn't there? The little vent thing. It's not a very clear image. It needs a touch of grey in there, I would say. So let's just put that in, and it can grey itself up. Well, I do enjoy. I enjoy going places. I enjoy things like that, travelling, and occasionally I get the opportunity to do that, you know, and I'm glad that when I do. So this is, you know, me stuck here. That was going to drip. It was going to drip. I could sense it because you didn't fucking dry it off enough. So I need a little bit of white over there. See what happens when you screw up. There's a big red bit there, which is a result of the mirror. Look, I think let's just leave it. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Right, how are you going to do this lamppost? Are you just going to do it from memory? Is that how you're going to do? What the fuck's that noise? The memory. So, are you going to have to look up the lamppost? I don't think you need to look up the lamppost. Right, let's just see if we can have a go at this. Right, we'll use this little thin brush here. We'll mix up the darker colours. I mean, I have to remind myself to be grateful what I do have, you know, and life. So what motivates people? See, I would say that our chum Craig is motivated by money. I think that's what he's motivated by. I don't think he's. I think that's what happens with YouTube, and I think Silver Hot Takes is doing that as well. They're motivated by their own success, and they've been shafted by the system because they deserve to be. Because their free speech has out welcomed itself, and that's why the police come knocking on the door, and that's not a good thing. There's nobody likes that, is there? And the person who's been really persecuted the most has been Tommy Robinson, but Tommy Robinson is not a vacuous piece of shit. You know, he's a genuine person. He really believes in what he's doing. He's sacrificed everything for what he's doing. His marriage, his house, his business, his children have probably, well, of course they have. His children have suffered from what he's doing. The question, therefore, is, you know, is it wrong? Well, who knows? Who knows? Is it wrong what he's doing? I would say it possibly is. So it's wrong what I did for my children. Transitioning and everything like that is wrong. So I shouldn't have done it, I should have thought about them. So equally Tommy Robinson should have abandoned his crusade. Because that's what it is. That's a good word for that actually, crusade. And for the sake of his children. But he would argue that he is protecting his children's future, so that you can sort of see it how so I don't know if that's looking like a really good lamppost. It needs to be a bit more grey, doesn't it? Maybe it's time we went for another coffee. So that's what the people around about here do. They get up and they get allowed out to mess about with their wheelie bins. They don't get allowed to do anything else. After New Year, the numpties got let out, and they all had their Marks and Spencer's jackets on, and they're all sort of wandering around out there. If you're a married man, you need to get yourself a dog, and that gets you an excuse to get out, like a pass. And you know that's essential. That you have to have a pass, because you can't just go and wander around looking in people's gardens if you don't have a purpose. So if you've got a dog, you can always claim you're walking the dog, and you can steal people's underwear and everything, you know. You can get away with a whole load of stuff, but if you don't have a dog, you're fucked. You know, you're just not going to get out in the first place. So that's what numpties do, and that's the life that they lead. You can reject that if you like. It comes at a cost. Obviously, everything comes at a cost. You can reject it and just leave. Give up everything you've got, leave it to her indoors. But you might find that is not a good long-term solution. I think the reality is, or some men are suited for, you know, marriage, domestic setting, and there's some that aren't. And the women have too much choice now as well. They can drop you just like that. Right, how's that looking? I don't know, I'm not too sure about that poll. Why is it? Why have you made it different? It's white. It should be the same all the way up. Yeah, you've done that wrong. Let's. I'm working on it like it's a lamppost, and it's not a lamppost. So I've kind of made a hash of this, but that's okay, we can paint over it. Trying to get a sort of image of chaos, you see. You know, like the lamppost, the no entry sign, sorry. So I try to get away for the car. That's what we're trying to do here. I think it's looking like it might be a good idea to go inside, and that way I can get away from it for a bit. And I've got the whiteness of here as well. The Patterson's clock needs to be more of a green, doesn't it? Maybe I need to get it looked out and have a look at it. Maybe. So it's like, this is actually a water drinking fountain, and it's not a giant penis, in case you were wondering. It's not a penis! So it's maybe just a little bit too simplistic to do it like that. You know, it's like, so there's yellow there. There is yellow. So we'll put some yellow out. We're running out of space here. Yellow. It's up the top there. Easy as 1, 2, 3. let's have a step back. Step back! Oh my god. The phone's getting hot again. What? Let's have it. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go for coffee, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up the top first before I go for coffee. Right? Up the top. Up there. Going to need a bit more detail in this, but it's quite dark. It is essentially a dark area. There's no doubt about that, because it's up the top, and I'm trying to make it a sort of dark atmosphere about it. You know. So we can quite easily alter right, so we've got sort of blue, the eaves, let's do that dark. I can reflect on how stupid my life's been when I'm doing this. And there's a thing there. There's a pipe as well. But I was kind of planning on doing Sharpies. Right, what we're going to do with this, it needs to be what we're going to do with the brick walls. Brick. Do you know what? Let's get rid of this. That's fucked. Get a new one. I mean, I've spent all morning doing this when I should have went to Edinburgh. But, well, no, you shouldn't have done, should you? Because this is more important. The colour's all starting to get dirty now. It's because the water's getting dirty. Things are just getting dirty. It's all getting a big jumbled up mess. Now, some people are a waste of time, of course, isn't there? Like, you know, there's somebody that's just never going to pay you for something. You know, they're going to want everything done for nothing. And they'll do nothing in return. Which is numpty that I know, not far from here. There's a guy was outside yesterday and he says, oh, I'm visiting so and so. Because I just ignored him. Because I didn't say anything nasty about him, I just ignored him. Because I don't accept the guy and the way he operates. So as far as I'm concerned, he's nothing. He's a nothing to me. So I think it's wrong to say, oh, I don't like him or her because of this, that and other. I don't think you should do that. I've done it before. And I don't think you should do that. You know, I think people have to make their own minds up about people, you know, is a fact, you know. That looks, I could see that looking like water, even though it's above a house. Oh my god. You know, it's above a house, but sky, it's looking just like water. It's above a freaking hotel. How you could see water up there? Wow, this is like a climate change thing, isn't it? Right, how does that look? God. Oh my god. Oh my giddy god, god. I don't want that too dark because the roof, you're sort of screwing this up, aren't you? You're screwing it up to a certain extent. Why did you start doing this? You didn't even think about this. You just started doing it. Just to see what can be done. Very, very, very expressive. Well, that's not working. Right, what we need is a line, a white line down there. That's what we need. Right down that. Oh, I'm getting fed up with this. It's actually getting quite warm in here. And we need to get this to dry off as well. Which would be why you would go for a cup of tea right now. Right, that's not good. Right, so we need to cancel that strange debarkation from reality that I went upon there. Because it's not really what I'm wanting. So I need more blue in it. I could just hear Siobhan saying it's muddy right now. You're going too muddy. I can just hear her right now saying that. Oh, what's happened? What have you done? You went and fucking screwed that up. Fuck's sake. Fuck a duck. I quite like the blue bit above there. You went and screwed that up. Right, you need to get that sort of turquoise colour again that you got. The green and blue. I'm gonna have to start a new plate. Green, blue. Okay. What happens? What happens when you mix them? It's too green. Green, blue. How do you get it to go that turquoise again? You could do with green for around the edge there, because that's where the trees are. And we need a sort of turquoise colour. How did you get fucking swarm in here? Right, we're gonna have to go for a cup of tea. Right, so thanks for watching this video. Bye! Oh my god, that's taking too long.